afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first ever Afrinvest town hall meeting. Today, we will be focusing on issues regarding claiming of dividends and entitlements for some of our shares that we might have lost track of in the past. My name is Judith Osemeke, and I will be the moderator for today. What are some of the things that you should expect today? You should expect a breakdown on the recovery process and how it should look like. You should also expect that we break down some of the requirements that you would need if you're trying to reconcile your shares, and also expect that we discuss different scenarios and even the best course of action for these scenarios. Earlier, we asked that you send in your questions and areas that you would like us to address during this town hall meeting. We've already received a number of questions so far, but if you haven't sent in your questions prior to now, there's no issue. What you would be able to do, you should be able to put in your questions in the Q&A box that should be on your screen. We would be addressing all of these questions as the meeting progresses. So now I have with me four speakers for today. The first speaker for today is Bola Sani. We are going to be going through a quick presentation. It's just supposed to be a brief presentation before we actually go into discussions and start addressing some of the issues that we've seen so far. But we have Bola Sani. She's the head of the Afrinvest Securities Abuja branch. I also have with me Bolaji Fajenyo. He is the head of business development, and he will also be taking us through just a quick talk. Also, I have with me Donald Oswago. He is an associate with Afrinvest Securities, and he's the one that runs the registrar operations in the team. As the webinar progresses, we would also have our co-head of Afrinvest Securities, Taiwo Godipe, who will just be breaking down quickly breaking down some of our other products that we offer. So in case you've seen products in the past and don't really understand, she will just be giving us a quick rundown. So first up, I would like to introduce Bola Sani to take the first part of the presentation. Please, Bola, how are you today? Can you go ahead?
Hello, Judith.
Hi, Bola, welcome. Can you go ahead with your quick part of the presentation, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Judith. Thank you for taking out time to be part of this town hall meeting on unclaimed dividend. Many Nigerians do not know of the high backlog of unclaimed dividend in the Nigerian capital market. You may have unclaimed dividend either from your personal investments or from a parent, a grandparent, a spouse, or any other family member. This can be a source of gifts at the point of maybe during naming ceremony also, and you don't even have idea of it. A lot of Nigerians invested in the stock market and just forgot about their investment. However, it is possible that your forgotten investment may be accruing dividends, which you are yet to claim. Only about 49 billion has been paid from the backlog of unclaimed dividend, worth over 130 billion. As at 2019, the SEC, that Security and Exchange Commission, has created an e-dividend portal to reduce the high incidence of unclaimed dividend. But most investors have not registered to this portal. Investors are therefore encouraged to register. However, in Afrinvest, we have a product which we call AfriTrack. AfriTrack is a combination of services provided by Afrinvest Security Limited, bundled into single offering to clients to satisfy our clients. This product is designed to unlock the value of outstanding and unclaimed entitlement of investment in Nigeria quoted securities on behalf of our clients. What involves for you to track your unclaimed dividend? 1, reconciliation of your shareholdings and investments. In this angle, number 2, we are going to be looking at recover of all outstanding certificates, bonuses, and dividend warrant. What do I mean by dividend warrant? Physical dividend warrant is no longer issued anymore. This means that if you did not sign up for e-dividend, you stand the risk of losing all your unclaimed dividend. Like I said, I have a client that working with a bunch of dividend warrant that he got as far back as 7 years ago. And I told them, oh, there's still hope for you. We can help you to lodge this dividend warrant, to revalidate it, and send it to your account. Again, there's dematerialization of recover of physical share certificates. In 2008, the Nigerian Stock Exchange gave notice to shareholders that they should ensure, as from January 2009, their share certificate have become dematerialized. Dematerialization is the conversion of a share certificate from its physical form to electronic form for the same number of units, which are then credited to investor CSCS. What do I mean by CSCS? CSCS is Central Security Clearing System. If you bring your certificate, you don't need to keep your certificate under your pillow, but there are many people that kept their certificate under their pillow, or they put it in a box. No, I'm still hiding it. I don't want anything to happen to it. No, you need to bring your certificate out for dematerialization. Again, it is a safe, for you to dematerialize your certificate, it is safe and convenient way to hold securities, and that since the depository system reduces the risk involved in holding physical certificates, such as loss, theft, mutilation, forgery, among others. We advise that for easy dematerialization, shareholders are required to maintain one CSCS account and CHN. What do I mean by CHN? CHN is clearinghouse number. It's just like your unique BVN number in the bank, because 2 shareholders can have one BVN. You in CSCS too, you have to have one CHN, just like BVN in the bank, CHN in the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So this CHN will help you to know your stock, wherever your stock. If you have one CHN, you'll be able to trace your shares at any given time. We are going to be looking at, again, we are going to be looking at the verification of a certificate, or verify the request. If you lost your certificate, or your certificate is damaged in the point of moving from one place to another, and you think, oh, I've lost my certificate to flood, how do I recover it? There is hope for you to recover it. A shareholder satisfies itself that the request for a replacement certificate is bona fide and come from a genuine shareholder. We have to be sure that, okay, this certificate belongs to you. And again, there's another thing we do to help you recover for you to recover your lost certificate. We seek for an indemnity. Indemnity is at the early stage. If a shareholder has moved house and not advised the company of their address, so some company issue new certificate to shareholder, display the new shareholder contact address, that makes you to lost your certificate. Maybe where you reside before, you move from that place to another, or at the point of marriage, when you get married, you relocate from that location, you move from the location you are to another location, you might lost your certificate. There's still hope for us to help you recover it. Again, we are going to be talking about revalidation for expired dividend warrant. Like I said earlier, that expired dividend warrant, there's hope. Please note that dividend warrants are valid for 6 months. 6 months from the date of issue. All we need to do is to contact the registrar on your behalf to help you revalidate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bola, for that. I hope we even have our pens and notes out and have been taking notes on what she has said so far. Quickly, we'll just be having a poll. I'm about to launch a poll. Okay. So yes, the first question is, as an investor, have you registered for the e-dividend payment? And then the next question is, do you receive your e-dividend on time? So we're very interested in seeing how the results for the polling will be. A lot of people are actually already responding. I will post the results later, but quickly, let's just welcome in Bolaji to take on the next part of the presentation. Please, Bolaji, go ahead.
Thank you, Judith. Good afternoon, everyone. We thank you all for joining us and giving us the opportunity to have this discussion with you. I'll be taking us through how the dividend recovery process works and the requirements needed to facilitate a seamless process. So company stocks can be purchased either through the primary or secondary market. And the former is simply stocks bought through initial public offer, IPOs, while the latter is bought on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange by a stockbroker. For stocks bought through the primary markets at the point of the offer application, intending shareholders, both individuals and corporates, usually sign off on the application form. Thus, their signature specimen, which happens to be the unique identifier, is captured by the registrars. While for the secondary market, shareholders are required to process transfer forms at the point of purchase of any new company share. For individual account holders, they are required to have their Know Your Customer documents updated with their stockbrokers while they provide other information such as the name of the company stock bought into, the number of shares bought, clearinghouse number, which is CHN, for the stock broking house the shares is bought from or bought through, their residential address, and are also required to sign off on the field transfer form and scan the field document to their stockbrokers for processing. This process is to be repeated for any new stock bought into. And it's also important to note that this process is one-off and does not need to be processed again once it has been previously processed. Thus, what I mean basically is that if you buy into a First Bank shares and you've previously processed e-dividend mandates or electronic mandates, and your allotment has been processed, your transfer form has been processed, you don't need to go through this process again, simply because the registrar have already captured your details. For corporate account holders, they are also required to have their Know Your Customer documents updated with their stockbrokers while they provide the same information and go a step further to provide the registrars of the new bought stock with a board resolution and signature mandate confirming who the signatory or signatories to the account is or are. Once the allotment or transfer form process is sorted out, the field electronic mandate can be processed through the shareholder stockbroker, his or her bank, or scanned to the registrar's email directly. One thing I want us to take note of now is that registrars are very, very responsive now. So if you send them an email, they will respond to you and provide solution for any inquiry you put to them. The most important thing to take note of is that it is advisable to process your transfer form and electronic mandate at the point of purchase of new stocks to reduce the issue of unclaimed dividends. Thus, whenever you buy into a new company stock, reach out to your stockbroker and request for a transfer form and e-dividend mandate form for that particular stock bought into. Once this is done, you can be rest assured that your dividend will be remitted to you. In conclusion, I believe I share many shareholders' opinion here that stakeholders, which includes the Central Securities Clearing System, the registrars, and the stockbrokers, can come up with an order management system that captures all the necessary Know Your Customer requirements of shareholders, which can easily be verified through the bank verification number, BVN, at the point of purchase, since all requirements are the same. Well, if you're creating your account, it is the same requirements that you will provide that will also be provided when you're processing your e-dividend mandate. So If the stakeholders can come up with an OMS, another order management system where all this information can be pulled from, then I don't see any reason why separate or different forms should be filled to have this process completed. I want to thank you for your audience on this. I'll allow my colleague Judy to take over from here.
All right, thank you very much for that, Bolaji. That was definitely insightful. So quickly before we bring forward our co-head of Afrinvest Securities to take us through some of the products that we have, we'll just be taking a few questions that have come in already. The first question is for Bola, and the question is from Bolarinwa Emmanuel. Yes. So he asks, I would like to inquire about how I can claim all my outstanding dividends for the past 10 years. So Bola, can you help explain how Bolarinwa can get his outstanding dividends? Let me just confirm. Okay, I think there's something wrong with Bola's connection. Can Bolaji please help take that instead?
Okay. Can you say the question again, please?
Yes. So Bolarinwa asks, he says, I would like to inquire about how I can claim all my outstanding dividends for the past 10 years.
Okay, thank you for that. So Mr. Bolarinwa, how you can go about this is to reach out to your stockbroker and let them know how this stock was purchased. Is it through the primary market or through the secondary market? If it's through the primary market, the registrar should have your signature specimen. So all you have to do is fill the e-dividend mandate form and process through your stockbroker, your bank, or send to the registrar's email directly. If the stock is bought through the secondary market, then you need to process an allotment or transfer form, as explained earlier. Once this is processed, then you can go ahead to process your e-dividend mandate form as well, and all your backlogs of dividends would be remitted to you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that, Bolaji. So I'm ending the poll now, and the results should be posted shortly. As we can see, can everyone see? Okay. So the results should be posted shortly. Yes. So we have 57% saying, oh yes, they have registered for their e-dividend payments, and 43 saying they haven't. For those who have received their dividends on time, we have like 43% and 57% saying no. So that's definitely interesting. So let me just take one other question before we go ahead with Taiwo. Okay, so this question is from Blessing. So it's going to be for Bolaji to take. Okay, so Blessing says, thank you for the awesome opportunity. I bought shares from Skybank some years ago, and to no avail, I have not been able to claim my dividend. I expect hearing from you soon. Bolaji, can you help us with that?
Okay, thank you, Judith. To start with, Skybank has been delisted from the Nigeria Stock Exchange, but the backlogs of dividends can still be recovered. And like I explained earlier, you need to be able to ascertain your mode of purchase. Is it through the primary or secondary market? Once you are able to notify your stockbroker of how this Skybank shares is bought, then they will advise you accordingly. To further explain, like I said previously, if it's through primary market, you can just go ahead to process your e-dividend mandate. But if it's through the secondary market, then you need to process your transfer form. Then afterwards, you go ahead to process the e-dividend mandate, and you can be assured that all your backlogs of dividends would be remitted to you.
All right, thank you, Bolaji. So I have another question from Alex to Bola. Alex asks, since I bought my shares for over 10 years, no dividend, I can't trace my broker and I don't know what to do. Bola, do you have any advice for Alex?
Okay, this is very, very easy. If you can't trace your broker and you have your evidence of purchase of the shares, or you have your CSCS statement, it is very easy. All you need to do is to sign up with us or to your broker and submit the CSCS statement. Like I say, they will use your CHN to trace the stockbrokers, and they will help you to print your CSCS statement. That's the current CSCS statement out.
All right, thank you very much, Bola. I have another question for Udwak. Okay, so Kennedy asks, my wife and I bought a joint share IPO of some companies. Now she's late. How do I go about claiming the dividend and the share certificates dematerialization?
Okay, hello everyone. In response to Kennedy, first of all, you will have to visit we will have to help you visit the registrars. You will do a letter to notify the registrars that your wife is now late with all the documentation to support that she's late. And the registrars will now advise what next to do, because it's not treated as a transmission account. That's because the other person is still existing and with the joint signatory investment. So we will get back to you after this on how to proceed, what next, and how we'll take it up from this point.
All right, thank you very much for that, Udwak. I have one more question. Then after that, we'll just quickly welcome Taiwo to take some of the other products and get back to answering more questions. This question is for Donald. Donald, Aminu asks, I've been sending mails to fresh registrars since December 2020 with filled unclaimed dividend forms to claim my Owando 2015 dividend without satisfactory response. They keep telling me that my account of Owando shares is zero and I am still in possession of the hard copy dividend warrants issued to me back then. What is the next course of action, please?
Yeah, thank you, Judith. To claim your outstanding dividend, and you have notified the registrar through mail that you have outstanding dividend to claim, and registrar has not responded to you, though they said they don't have outstanding shares with them. However, you have your slip. Basically, it's the registrar that has a true position of shares for every investor. It could be that the dividend warrant you are having, though it specified the number of units they are holding on the slip, but will reach out to us after this webinar. We will approach the registrar on your behalf for the second time to know how we can get your investment back to you if you have any outstanding shares with the registrar. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Donald. Like Donald stated, you can always reach out to brokerage team at afrinvest.com. If for further information on some of the things we've mentioned so far. But quickly, before we head back to answering questions, we have a lot of questions that we're going to be answering. But before we head back, we'd like to to welcome Taiwo Ogudipe. She's the co-head of Afrinvest Securities. She's just going to be giving us a brief rundown on some of the other products that the team offers. So please welcome Taiwo. You can please go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for making out time to attend this maiden edition of our program webinar titled "Claiming Your Outstanding Dividend." And I believe that with the informations and the insights that our team has provided, this has been a profitable, and we have been able to gain more on how to track and be able to follow through on our investments. Apart from this AfriTrack products that we are discussing this afternoon, we have some other products we offer at Afrinvest to meet your investment plan. And amongst them is equity trading. Equity trading simply is you as an investor trading on stocks listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, while Afrinvest acts as your broker, like an intermediary between you and the stock exchange. And apart from that, also, we have access for investors to actually take their investment into their hands, meaning you can have access to online trading. We have our online trading platform where you can trade yourself. And we have this on the web, as well as you can download our app, afrinvestor.com, for you to be able to see what your portfolio looks like and be able to trade yourself. Also, we have the money market for those of us who our interest is more on the fixed income investments. You can do treasury bills. Treasury bills is available both on the secondary and the primary markets as deemed fit. And we have the commercial paper too available for whoever might be interested, as most of this commercial paper, as much as they come out, you always know about it. So whichever is of your interest is available to you. And we have the fixed income trading, which is the bond. We have the federal government bond, which is also available on the secondary market and the primary market. So also we have the federal government savings bond, which is also available every time, first week of the month. This is actually targeted at the low-income earners to help them imbibe the saving cultures. These are always available. So we hope you see Afrinvest as that financial supermarket that has all your financial needs to meet your financial objective and financial plan. So we're looking forward to see you on Afrinvest platform, and we hope to provide you with that product that best suits your investment plan. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Taiwo. Like she said, like Afrinvest, consider us like a supermarket for all your investment needs. And you can always reach out to us on brokerage@afrinvest.com once again, if you would like to have more information or insights on some of the other product offerings that we have. So now we'll be going back to questions. I have one question for Bola. How can I change the bank account registered for my dividend payments? That's the first question. So Bola, please go ahead.
Okay, for you to change the bank account register for your e-dividend is to fill another e-mandate. Is to fill another e-mandate to the registrar.
Okay, thank you very much, Bola. I have another question for Bola G, and this is from Bernard. Bernard asks, how can I access dividends from a bank which is now merged or bought over by another bank?
Okay, the process is the same. Basically, if there's a change of ownership in a bank, it is quite obvious that the bank that has taken over the previous bank will automatically take possession of whatever services are being rendered by the previous bank. So let's say, for example, Intercontinental Bank that was taken over by Access Bank. So if you had filled a previous mandate, electronic mandate, and you had registered Intercontinental Bank as your receiving bank, automatically it becomes Access Bank. But just to be on the safe side, the e-dividend mandate can be processed again, just to be on the safe side. I believe I've been able to answer the question.
Yes, you have, Bolaji. Thank you for that. Okay, so I have another question for Donald now. The question is, I gave my shares certificate to an organization to manage, and ever since I have not received any information from them. How can I retrieve them and any cost of claims on my dividends?
Thank you, Judith, for the question. Yeah, if you have certificates you have given to your stockbroker in the past to manage for you, and you have not had anything from the stockbroker, probably maybe the stockbroker has gone under. What you need to do is as good as if that certificate has not reflected, have not been dematerialized into your CSS account, is as good as you don't have them. So you can approach the registrar for those companies that manage those registrars that manage those companies that you have. You can approach them. They will now issue what we call dematerialization form. With that dematerialization form, you can take it to any of your stockbroker and approach Afrinvest. Then we would now dematerialize those share certificates into our position. You still have them. You're still sitting, those certificates, those shares are still sitting with the registrar if they have not been dematerialized by your previous stockbroker. We can still retrieve those certificates and dematerialize it into Afrinvest position. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Donald. So just to announce, at some point during this conversation, we're going to be enabling hand raising, so we can actually hear from, some of the investors and hear live, your questions. So it will be enabled as we progress, but for now, let's just continue answering more questions that we've been forwarded. We've actually been forwarded so many questions, so we're trying to run through as many as we can, right now, given the time constraint. So the next one is from Sahid, and it's for Udwak. The question is, my current stockbroker is out of business. How do I transfer my shares to Afrinvest?
Okay, that's not a hard one. We'll actually have to do what we call an intermember transfer. So we'll request if you have the former statement from the house. If you don't have, in the event that you don't have the CSCS statement from that house, which is now out of business, we can approach CSCS with what is called a global search for you, and they will give us your statement holdings with that house. And then we'll process intermember transfer for you and move your shares, your portfolio to Afrinvest. So it's not a difficult challenge.
All right, thank you very much, Udwak. The next question is actually for Donald. Olukunle says, I used to invest with another stockbroker. This is also a similar question. I now do that through Afrinvest. That means that I have two different accounts with the CSCS, and I do have my dividend split because of having invested through two different brokers. How can I integrate all my investments in the same companies, though invested through different stockbrokers? Donald, please can you go ahead?
Okay, thank you for the question. You have two different stockbrokers and they want to integrate it into one stockbroker.
Yes.
Then all you need to do is we can merge those two CSS accounts on your behalf through CSCS. They will merge your account into one account so that you won't have problem of having multiple accounts.
All right, thank you very much, Donald. The next question is for Bola. This question is, I have filled forms and got no response from the registrars. So what do you advise, Bola?
Hello. The client
Yes,
he asked what? Can you come again with your question?
He has filled various forms and hasn't gotten a response from registrars. What's your advice to this person?
Okay, if you have filled various e-mandate form and you haven't gotten a response from the registrar, I assume maybe the registrars are here to get your form. In this situation, all we need to do is to help you follow up with such registrar. We can help you to follow up with them, confirm why your requests were not attended to, or you can as well send a mail to them and copy us.
Yes. All right. Thank you for that, Bola. I have another question from Kalu, and it's for Bolaji. I have observed that the SEC website on unclaimed dividends has not been updated since inception. I have recovered some of mine, but the list still shows everything. Bolaji, what's your response to this, please?
Okay, like you have rightly mentioned, the SEC portal is not updated. So it is advisable for any shareholder to have an idea of the stocks they bought into. So even if the portal doesn't show it, at least you have a record of what you've previously bought into, even if you don't have the share certificates or any record of the purchase at all. What we usually do is once you mention the name of the stocks affected, we provide you with a dematerialization form. You fill it out, attach your passport, sign off. Then it is taken to the registrar, to the registrars. Then the registrars will notify us if there's anything outstanding for you. So once we get this feedback, we'll reach out back to you, and all the necessary processes, which includes broker indemnity and the likes, will be processed, and whatever is outstanding for you will be lodged into your CACS account.
All right, thank you for that, Bolaji. The next question is actually for Donald. F. Young asks, he says that I have power of attorney to manage my mom's portfolio of shares. I recently noticed that she received dividends for shares that she does not have with her current stockbrokers. Afrinvest advised that we do a global search, but the shares did not reflect, and contacting the registrars has provided results. What should I do? I guess he means no results. I'm not sure. Yeah. So what's your advice to this type of situation?
Please come again.
Okay, so he says, I have a power of attorney to manage my mom's portfolio of shares. I recently noticed that she received dividends for shares that she does not have with her current stockbrokers. Afrinvest advised that we do a global search with CSCS, but the shares did not reflect, and contacting the registrars have provided no results. What should I do?
In this case, thank you for the question. You will still need to approach the registrar again. If you have a power of attorney to manage your mommy's, investments, and she received a dividend into a bank account for a stock that she does not have, what you need to do is approach the registrar, and the registrar will print what we call a dividend statement or shareholding statement that will now reflect, all the companies that the dividend have been paid into that account.
Okay. Okay. So this is another question for you, Donald. Actually, Olukunle says, I have observed that there is another gentleman with whom I share the exact same name. Sometimes I get notices of unclaimed dividends in companies I have no shares with. How can I ensure that we are not being mixed up?
Thank you for the question. I don't think for the question to get a dividend for a company you don't have. Most of the registrars, they paid dividends though it's the electronic means of payment now. If you receive a dividend in your bank account that you don't have, I will advise you approach the registrar to, to ascertain where the error is coming from, or you have that particular stock in the past, but you don't know that you have that shares, that you are receiving dividend. Registrar can be in a good position to explain to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. The next question is for Udwak. It's from Aminu, and he asks, how can I claim an expired dividend of a company that I have already sold the stock? Udwak, I don't think you're on. Can you unmute your mic? I think you're still muted.
Okay. Okay, I mean, if you have the physical dividend stump, you had received it initially before you sold off, then we would have to fill e-mandate form to registrars, because you actually had qualified for those dividends before you sold them out. So it has actually been with the registrar. So you would always be paid the entitlement.
All right, thank you very much for that. The next question, we still have so many questions to go through, so I'm just going to go through them quickly. The next question is for Bola. Okay, so the question is, does one need to add a signature confirmation letter from banks to the e-dividend forms to be submitted as relevant registrars? This is from Babajide. Let me take it again. Does one need to add signature confirmation letter from banks to the e-dividend forms to be submitted at relevant registrars?
Thank you, Babajide, for this question. It is not necessary at the point of submission. It depends. If you purchase your shares from primary market, the registrar they ought to have your signature in their database. But if you purchase through secondary market and your signature at the point of purchase, you did not fill share transfer form for signature lodgement, if you want to retrieve your dividend, it will be difficult. It's at the point of submission to the registrar that the registrar will determine. It is the registrar that will determine either you have to submit banker's confirmation or not. But it's not necessary for you to submit at the point of giving us the e-mandate, of giving the registrar. Because sometimes the registrar can have your signature specimen, so there will be no need for you to do banker's confirmation. It is in the case where they don't have your signature, that's when they request for banker's confirmation. I hope this answers your question.
Okay, thank you very much for that. We have another question, then we'll be turning on the hand raising feature so we can actually hear from you and discuss. So I have the next question says, there are a few companies in which I invested but hardly ever get any dividend. I do not know if these companies do declare dividends or not. If they do, how can I be sure my dividend is not being misdirected? This question is for Bolaji. Let me take it once again. There are a few companies in which I invested but hardly ever get any dividend. I do not know if these companies declare dividend or not. If they do, how do I be sure my dividend is not being misdirected?
Okay, thank you, Judith. For any stocks bought into, regardless of if they pay dividends or not, it is advisable you process the electronic mandate. However, regarding confirming if these dividends are being redirected or not, there's always a record of all dividends paid out with the registrars. So at any point, the stockbrokers can request for dividend payment statement, which shows all the dividends that has been paid out or yet to be paid out. And once that is done, you can go ahead to process your electronic mandate. But at all points, it is pertinent to note that whatever dividend you're yet to, that is yet to be paid to you is with the registrars. And once you process your electronic mandate, what is due to you will be remitted.
All right, thank you very much for that. Now I would like to just hear from some of the participants. I've seen some hands raised. If you still have questions, you can still raise your hand. I'm going to allow Ayodele speak now. Ayodele Bekele. Okay, please go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, my question is that in line with the 2008 directive to dematerialize physical share certificates, in September 2008, I think, I deposited about 11 physical share certificates through Tropic Security Limited. And it was verified, and I later received a text message with my CSCS number. But unfortunately, I lost my phone with the CSCL number, and I later went to Tropic Security Limited at Legally Ayonde. But surprisingly, the company has been closed down. So, and since then, since 2008, I have not received any dividends on the 11 shares, and also I don't know what to do. So I don't know if you can advise the next step, and if there's any way your company can help, it will be highly appreciated. Thank you.
Yes, all right. Donald, do you have any advice for Ayodele?
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's very easy to, since the company, the stockbroking firm is a dead stockbroking firm now. So that investment you have here is not lost. We can retrieve them to our position. It's just few things you need to do. And one of those things is you forward your CSS statement, if you have it. Then you get a banker's confirmation letter addressed to CSS. You get a proof of purchase. Then you get BVN data page, and you fill a KYC form, because we need to know the person we are dealing with the person that wants to move his account from a dead house, because it's between you and our regulators. So we need to, when you complete all those things, fill our account opening form, then under a week, your account will be moved to our position. It's no issue. Just reach out to us after this webinar.
All right, thank you. Okay, so please, Ayodele, please reach out to Brokerage team at Afrinvest or any of the contact details on your screen right now. I'm going to allow Jude to speak. Jude, please, can you go ahead with your question? Is Jude still there? Okay, let's just go ahead with another investor. I have Emmanuel.
I don't know how it happened.
Oh, okay, Jude. Good afternoon. Please go ahead with your question.
Okay, I left the question in the question. Seems to be responding to it. My question is, how do I have changed location from Lagos down to the east? How do I reclaim my dividends, especially now that I don't even know the stockbroker? I don't know their office right now because we relocated. The last time I made an attempt, they are no longer there. Then secondly, all these things you say you do for people who are not probably with Afrinvest, do they come at a cost? Or are you just going to do that? on a free basis.
Okay, Uduak, would you like to take that? Unmute your mic, please, Uduak. I think you're still muted.
Okay. Okay, so I didn't quite get the question right. You spoke about the stockbroking house not
Yes,
functional.
they have relocated or maybe not functional because I'm no longer, in contact with them.
Okay. Okay, well, the first question I'll ask you, do you have a CSCS statement for that portfolio in that house? Do you still have a CSCS, no matter how old it is? Did you ever get one?
I have not since. I think I have gone there to ask for a statement of accounts which they charged me for, but I do not have that copy. I don't know where that copy is right now.
Okay, not a problem. We can actually do what we call a global search through CSCS. We would write to CSCS and we would indicate with your name to CSCS. CSCS can provide us the statement. So far, you can also remember the name of that house. That would also help. You know, so CSCS will do a global search and would provide us with a statement for you of your holdings, your shared holdings in that house. So from that point, then we can now do what we call an intermember transfer, assuming that house has closed down. But if the house is still functional, maybe we'll be able to know where their new location is, and you can still go ahead to do the transfer to move your portfolio to Afrinvest, which will be more active for you. So that is fine. Then you ask
I'm not in Lagos.
It doesn't matter. Due to the COVID pandemic, most companies are all working virtually. So CSCS works virtually. So all you need to do for us is to send us an email right after the town hall meeting, and I will take up your case. You can actually direct it to me, so I will take it up. And
what's your name?
We'll be able to work. My name is Uduak Nelson.
All right. Then I asked the second question. Are you doing this without charge?
Oh, certainly. If we are going to request from CSCS to get your statement, it's at a cost. CSCS actually has a charge for that. So for them to do a global search to find your statement, there's a charge to that. And when they find your statement, there's a charge to print it out too. So all of that we would communicate to you what CSCS gets back with.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you, Uduak. And just to clarify, Uduak actually also works from the Port Harcourt office, because I think I saw a question asking if we have a Port Harcourt office. She works from Port Harcourt office as well as our co-head Taiwo Ogundipe. So you can reach her on the contact details that should be showing on your screen now. I'm going to allow Emmanuel come forward and speak. Emmanuel, welcome.
All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I asked my question earlier with the chat, but it's okay for me to ask it again. So earlier, I think late 2019, I began recovery of my dad's share dividend using the certificates available. The ones I found were from two companies. One was AP, who's now Fort Oil, and the other was Union Bank. So I sent mail to them, and Zenith registrar that manages the Fort Oil, they responded and they sent me a document of, I think, showing the materialization or something. But I didn't really understand the document, and I was looking for a stockbroker to help me translate the document. So that one is outstanding. And then secondly, the Union registrar that manages the Union Bank shares, I've tried every means, even going to the bank branch to contact them, but to no avail. The mails I sent them, no replies, and so on. And to top it all, now I lost my dad early last year. Now, I don't know how to continue the search, because I would really want to continue the search and to reclaim all of them if possible. So I would like to know what I could do now.
All right, Uduak, would you like to take this?
Okay, Ms. Emmanuel. First of all, I will start with you lost your dad. You will need a power of attorney, a letter of administration. With that said, at that point, registrars were going to relate with you. If you don't have that letter, registrars will not oblige your request. So I don't know if your dad died intestate or he had a will. At that, if he had that, you can process letter of administration from the court. And when you get that, you come with the documentation to show that your father is late and has been buried. Then you can now treat this request as an transmission account. It has to be an estate. So if you don't have the requirements, registrars will not attend to your request.
All right, thank you very much for that, Uduak. There's a question that came in for Bolaji. The investor is trying to find out the difference between a primary and secondary market purchase. Bolaji, would you like, please, can you take that?
Okay, thank you, Judith. So basically the difference between primary market purchase and secondary market purchase is that primary market is when a stock is being initially offered on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Here, what usually happens is a form is filled and you fill the number of shares you want allotted to you. Meanwhile, for secondary markets, it is bought by a stockbroker. So basically, primary market is stocks bought through initial public offer when a stock is just being listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, while secondary market purchase are stocks bought on the secondary through a stockbroker on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, which means basically that you're buying a stock that has been listed for quite some time. And it's currently trading. Thank you. Hello, Judith.
Okay. I think Judith has a network.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, Judith.
So sorry about that. Okay, so I just wanted to quickly wrap up. We have so many questions that we've received so many questions that we can't possibly address, in this time frame. But what we're going to do is that we're going to reach out to you and have your questions answered. If you even have more that come to you, probably in the future, you can also reach out to any of the contact details here on your screen. You can also send an email to brokerage@afrinvest.com. You're going to be able to get the presentation via email after this. But we want to say a huge thank you. Yeah, you can also reach out to any of us. We have branches in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt. We have Bolaji. We have Bola that heads the Abuja branch. Bolaji works in the Lagos branch. Udvak also works in the Port Harcourt branch. Donald works in the Lagos branch as well. Paul works in the Onitsha branch. So basically, my point is that you can reach out to anyone, and everybody is available to help you sort out some of your issues. For your questions that have not been attended to, we will still reach out to you after this. We're also going to have multiple discussions about different scenarios and different aspects of share recovery and claiming outstanding dividends. So we want to say a huge thank you to every single person that has registered and that actually came up, registered and participated in this town hall meeting. Thank you for taking out your time. And I want to say a huge thank you to the speakers. We've had a really insightful session, and I hope that, we've been able to gain one or two things, and even answering some of the questions from some of the questions that we've answered so far. I hope they have even been able to, help your own situation as well. Thank you to the rest of the team as well that helped put this together. And yeah, please do have a wonderful day, a wonderful Friday, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, bye.